So, so good evening. Welcome everybody to this evening's SYUK meditation, Wednesday what is it? The 20th of November. So we will do a brief, middling, I'm not sure, meditation together. And then I will play some sitar for us to meditate to, just 5 minutes or so. And then we'll listen to a talk. So quite a standard format for this evening. I'm sure we all know it well. So if we start off with, for those of us who haven't done it already, we start off with doing namaskar and raising kundalini and putting on a bandhan. So we just, in the beginning, We can just close our eyes, bring our attention inside. Just initially, we just want to relax. And just notice what we can feel on our hands. Can put our attention on the top of our heads, maybe see if we can do that with ease or whether that's tricky. Whether it's easy to be thoughtless or whether it's not so easy. So we're just kind of settling in, seeing where we're at. I guess many of us have been at work or doing other things in the day, been busy. So this is the beginning of our journey within. And as we all know, this journey starts the Muladhara chakra, so the base of the spine. And as we know, Shimataji has taught us that this is a place within us where the personality of the divine personality of Sri Ganesha has his seat within us. And his quality is that, well, is many, many-fold, but is primarily that of innocence and of the clarity and wisdom that that brings. So if we put our attention on the Muladhara chakra, the base of the spine, and we can pray to Sri Ganesh that his innocence, his joy and his wisdom, that they should shine within us. We should feel those qualities within our own personality. So we can all make that humble request within ourselves in our own words. And as we also know, one of the names of Sri Ganesha is the remover of obstacles. So we can also humbly ask that he remove all the obstacles to the rising of Kundalini. As we know, Shimataji has said that without his permission, the Kundalini doesn't rise. So we can all humbly ask Sri Ganesh, our dear eldest brother, the source of all the innocence and wisdom in all of creation. Please remove all the obstacles. And specifically the obstacles to the rising Kundalini, that our attention might be taken up into Sahasrara and into meditation. So again, we can all just make that prayer, that request within ourselves in our own words. And we can then bring our attention again back to the Sahasrara, the top of the head. And again, notice how easily it sits there, and can we focus our attention there without thinking? We feel thoughtlessness. So we can also bring our attention to the left heart, our right hand on the left heart. And just say the mantra or the affirmation within ourselves. I am the spirit. I am the pure spirit. I am not my thoughts. I'm not these emotions I feel. Not even this body. I am the pure spirit. And with our attention on our heart, we can also just let our breathing slow down. May well have happened anyway, but just put a gap, a pause in as you breathe out. You wait. Or you breathe in again. Again, when you reach the top of your breath, all the way in. Leave a gap. And focus on that stillness. With our attention on the left heart, we can also say, yeah, I don't know if it's an affirmation or not, but the request to Sri Shiva to please forgive us for any mistakes that we've made against our spirit. And again, let our attention drift up to the sahasrara, to the top of the head. And let any thoughts we have, let them fall away. And with our attention on the top of our head, just sit in meditation or play a short bit of sitar, and then we will listen to a talk of Sri Mataji. So we'll now listen to an excerpt of a talk. So from 1981 in Hampstead, the talk where Shamashi talks about William Blake.
It is such a pleasure today and great fortune that here where William Blake lived, and he sang those songs of greatness, of the greatness of this country, the future that it has to be, the dreams he saw have now come to shape. That we are here to celebrate his anniversary. Things go beyond words and you cannot express yourself. Many people do not understand him because he wrote it according to them in abstract language or in the language that he understood. But I am happy that Sir Yogis understand him so well. And the prophecies that he made about England. People used to ridicule it. Even today they can't believe that Jerusalem can be built in England. They cannot believe that people who have been all their lives for ages together thought of nothing but materialism can take to spirituality to this extent that it becomes Jerusalem and that the whole world comes to pay homage to this holy land. That this becomes the holy land. It's a fact. He dreamt, he wished it, because he knew the value of this land. This land has been touched by Christ's feet. Since long, people knew about Kundalini. Even if that is lost, for history, it remains here. And he knew about it. He spoke about it in his lifetime. Maybe people never understood him. They must have thought that he's really a madman or something, a fantasy, or some sort of a poet who doesn't understand. For what he wrote, every word of it is the truth. Such a great soul should live in Hampstead itself. It's such a blessing. Great. Such people, even if they write or not, they leave their mark. Their ascent becomes the milestone for the people who live there. the aspirations become different, the priorities become different. The change is so subtle. It's to be seen, to be felt, to be understood. And very sensitive people only can be born in such places. Of course, there could be very bad people also to counteract. But the sensitivity of the atmosphere attracts such souls to that place who are sensitive. You can see from his poems that he was absolutely authoritative. He knew the authority, he had the authority. He talked like a man with complete authority. He had no doubt in it. He has no doubts. He just said this is going to happen. And like a great warrior, that he knew that one has to fight the negativity, one has to fight all these dark problems. The spirit has to fight all the time the matter. And that's how he talked, spoke, wrote. A warrior would do, because he started the fight when he was born here, 100 years back. And to me, he is very great, because he said all these things. He prepared the stage for SYUK. Because he wrote all these things, we can say that this was all said. Because human beings are such, unless and until it is said before, they are not going to listen to you. They will ask you, what is the reference for what you are saying? You have to give reference for everything. See, whatever is written according to them is scripture, which is the last word. Whether the book is published in any trash place doesn't matter, but it's published already. He's such a great thing he's done. But he's not done it for any material gain or for any fame or anything that is very superfluous. But he's done for something that is very eternal. And that is the awakening of human beings. That is their second birth. That is the knowledge of the Spirit. These words cannot come from a man who is a weakling, who is a doubting fellow, who doesn't know where he stands, who is confused, who is a drunkard, or who is an alcoholic, sort of a gone case or a madcap. Cannot come. And it cannot come from an egoistical man who thinks no end of himself. A man who dominates others, who believes in robbing other countries and going to other countries and rob them and go to another house and rob them. Not from such people. It comes from a person who knows the value, the soil on which he is born, the spiritual value of that, not the material value. And it's so subtle, every word is so subtle, that it's like a chanting. It's like a chanting. You are specially blessed because such a great poet was born in this country. And wherever I go in my series of lectures, at least in one lecture I always mention he has gone into great details, just like Markandeya, another great poet in India who was born thousands of years back. But to realize that this country is the heart of the universe, and here the Jerusalem is going to be. Nobody could have thought 100 years back a thing like that. It's fantastic, actually. Even 30 years back, nobody could have understood it. Even I would say 10 years back. People would have thought this man is really mad to call this as the Holy Land. It is today, the Holy Land. You can see that. Because so many people have got realization in this country. And you are the one who circulate everything. It is the heart. Whatever the English do, whether right or wrong, it all circulates. Though they don't understand their responsibility. Because they don't know it is the heart of the universe. If you do wrong or right, the whole world does that way. People think that among all the Western countries, you are the wisest. That's what they think. I don't know how far you come. They believe. It's English, say. Even Arabs. If you say it is English, they believe. How far it is true, God knows. And the values that he cherished, the dreams that he saw, and the aspirations he had were so great that one has to know that there must be something in this land that he aspired. He was not mad in any way. Nowhere, no poet in any country has written like this. It was given him the chance, the authority to say it. That means you must circulate. Circulate with a heart that circulates, caters, looks after the whole body. And once it collapses, the whole body collapses. It's not so. The English heart has to become the heart of William Blake. And not the chicken-hearted one, or the aggressive one, or the hatred-filled pockets, or the hateful ones. Because the blood flows through you to realize this, to understand this. The responsibility of an Englishman is very, very great. In the heart resides the spirit. Sahaj Yogis know this, that till a certain stage it resides in the heart. So it's a very, very great position you occupy, so that you people become aware. It is important also that you are the cell, the important cells of the heart. Heart doesn't think, does it? It does not think, it loves. It loves. When you think, you must know you are not Englishman as described by William Blake. But if you love, you are. And love doesn't mean personal love or carnal love or all kinds of ideas of love is charity work. It means the love of the spirit which is awakened within you, which just emits love. Which just emits. It doesn't think, it just emits. It doesn't think that whether it should give to the black or the white, whether it should give it to the rich or the poor. It just loves. It flows. And that is why one should get realization in England. Very important. Without realization, you cannot flow, you cannot give. You will never understand the value of giving. You will never enjoy giving. You will never know the beauty of generosity unless and until you become the cell of the heart. You are the cell of the heart. It's the most important position, as I told you. It's the most vital particle of that heart. And the one who is the heart has to be like a lion. He roared, actually roars. If you read these things, like a lion he roars. He has to be like a lion. and not to be frightened, like English language is, I am afraid. It starts with I am afraid and ends with I am afraid. What are you afraid of? Every person is afraid of you. What are you afraid of? You have to change your language. You have to speak like him. The Sahajogis have to speak like William Blake, the way he spoke about his great country, about the soil in which he was born, about the people who will be born here, who will be Sahajogis. He described them so well that men of God will be born on this soil. Men of God. Special people. The chosen ones, not those who have branded themselves as chosen. Most of the chosen ones are going towards the hell only. But the really chosen ones will be born on this soil. And they will become prophets. Not only that, but they'll have a special power to make others prophets. He saw this. At that time he could see that you all are going to become prophets and that you all are going to make others prophets. Like one enlightened light enlightens another. He could see it so clearly. What a clear heart he must be having. What a clear vision he must be having. What a clear brain he must be having to receive all this information about today. So you have to become, is the point. You may be God's people, but you have to become a prophet. Unless and until you are a prophet, what's the use of choosing you also? What's the use of your being born here? You all have to become prophets. And to become a prophet, Kundalini has to be awakened, you are to be realized, and you get these special powers to realize others. People can't believe it. That in Sahaja Yoga today, if you get realization, you can give realization to others. When I went to Rome, the people had this doubt I felt. When I said that, next moment you can give realization to others. And they just could not believe it, that they can feel the Kundalini, they can give realization. It's too much to believe in it. It's too fantastic. So, the last day, I said, all those who have felt the cool breeze and stand behind the people who have not felt the cool breeze. They are very nice people, I must say, these people in Rome, because I think they have reached the conclusion of complete frustration with their seeking. So they stood up behind each of one of them. And they were amazed. They could raise the Kundalini, they could give realization. They said, Mother, we got realization only yesterday, some of them. I said, so what? You could have done it yesterday, but today you are doing is rather good. You could have done it immediately, but this is what it is, fantastic. So there is no place for you to have any doubts. Don't waste your energy in doubting. You have done that bit too much. Bit too much. Now the time has come for you to get your realization, to get enlightened, to understand it. But there are still people who are on the fence. And they are neither this way or that way. And Christ has described them very well. He said, I don't mind hot or cold. I mean the people who get the cool breeze, of course, they are first class. Even those who get hot are all right because they would like to get rid of their hot. But the halfway I don't like, I'll spit them out of my mouth. The ones who go 3 steps forward and 4 steps backwards, such people are really a headache to Sahaja Yoga. If they get out, it is much better. Half-hearted people in Sahaja Yoga are of no use, which was told by Christ long time back. But I don't know if people really realize it or not. And this is the problem I have faced in this country bit too much. The maximum in this country, to be very frank. The ego is of a subtle nature, such a subtle nature in this country. Every country has a different type. Like we can say in Spain, it is like the bullfighting. in Rome, it is the artist ego. They think they are great artists. They have a sense of beauty. All sorts of things. But in this country, you must know what sort of an ego you people have. Is thinking that nobody could be better than us. We are the topmost people. You see that upper, what we call upper lip, upper stiff upper lip, stiff upper lip. I mean, they themselves laugh at themselves. It's a good idea. But it's true. I have seen that. That stiff upper lip is the point. That doesn't make you to smile, laugh. I mean, even if you certify that you can smile now, they would not. That sort of a thing makes you very insensitive. As if the ego comes down from there and settles down on the lip. You cannot, there's no mobility on the lips, nothing. Walk with such a terrifying face sometimes that you don't know. You find that. It takes nothing to smile, to be congenial. We are all human beings, we are not dogs. That we should bark at each other. That we should be frowned at. That we should frown at each other. First thing we have to learn that we are the heart cells. And that we have to love. Without love, you cannot be called an Englishman according to Mr. William Blake. I won't say anything because I don't want to be angry. According to him. So, first of all, let us know if we can really love ourselves. That's the biggest problem. The first disease he did not know. Perhaps William Blake did not know what I will have to face. I wish he had written all that. The first disease the people have here, apart from the upper lip, is left vishuddhi, means guilt. They may be Catholic or not, does not matter. But they have this built-in guilt within themselves or nothing at all. First of all, you must give up your guilt business. I think he did not know about it. William Blake did not know that people will develop this because at that time they were not like that. And this is such a big problem which I have been facing since I came to this country. You know, the first 4 years I was struggling with people who were druggists and killers. And the problem they had that I said, why did you take drugs? What is there to live in this world for? For what are we living? I said, for your spirit. So they take spirits, you see. English language have a great advantage, see. You can say it is the spirit in the heart. You can say the spirit you treat. Or the spirit, that is what we call a bhoot in Indian language, means a dead body, dead soul, a dead person. So this is the advantage, and that's how they were indulging into spirits. But the problem with them is, it was such a vicious circle, that if you try to correct them, they would recede into themselves and get into tantrums and say that we are good for nothing, useless people. Then I would encourage them, say, no, you are wonderful people, it doesn't matter. You don't worry, this, that, every thought of a pampering. Then they would become ego-oriented. It was impossible. And the story of people who are always described in a mathematics paper. You see, when they give you, in they say 7th standard, 6th standard, you get a question like this. A house was to be built, and in that village, one Mr. A came to work. He did only 1/16 of the work and he ran away. Then another came in who did only 1 50th of the work and ran away. And then the third one came who did only the 1/100th of the work and disappeared. So when will the work finish? Never is the answer. If you have all runaways and those who are escapists, how can the work be finished with these people who always escape? Simple answer is never. You may calculate it, go on calculating it. The answer is never is the word. If you want to escape the situation, if you want to escape yourself, if you want to escape the present, you will never reach there where you have to reach. And you are never going to be satisfied with yourself, you are not going to be happy either. So you have to face it. You have to face it as it is and stand up. That's what he said. That you bring the arrow to me, I'll face it. Like a brave man, you have to face it and not to become, I am afraid. You are not to escape yourself. You are so beautiful. Inside, outside, you are very beautiful. You are the spirit. And if
So we approach the end of this session together, this evening together. As our final collective act, we can all, with our attention in the sasrara, we can all thank Shri Mataji for all that she did and does for us. All the effort that she put in teaching us. So we can all, again in our own way, in our own words, we can offer our thanks for those things which we can see that we have been given or been shown. When in your own time, when you're ready, those of you who want to finish up, we can do Namaskar and raise Kundalini Put Bandhan. I will put on a brief I don't know if I can find it or not. Put on a brief concert or end of a concert of Nishat Khan playing Rag Bhairavi, which is not long. And so we can sit and enjoy that. And in our own time, do Namaskar and finish the meditation. I remembered shortly after starting that it doesn't play to the end of the concert. I've made that mistake before, so my apologies for that. Anyway, thank you all for joining me. Hope you enjoyed the meditation. See you all soon, I'm sure. Jai Shri Mataji.